he's touching boobs, he's going for it, he's living the dream. I shut the laptop, he's like, are you good? And I just start sobbing.
Hello, everybody. I am the Amanda Rogers, and welcome back to another episode of Fandom Friends. Today, I am so excited to have my good friend Eryn with me. Eryn, not Erin.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so excited to have you on Fandom Friends with me. I love the fact that we became friends literally through fandom, and
yes,
the fact that we actually got to see each other at Anime NYC finally.
It was such a blast.
Seeing your Revy in person.
Oh my god. That was a good day for her. I was just like, yeah. Like normally, like they'll have like the weapons and like prop check and stuff, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, where is it this time? Am I gonna get yelled at? And as soon as I pulled out the guns, all these photographers came running over and they're like, oh my god, it's Revy. And I'm like, you know what? Forget this. If this is okay, then they're not getting tagged.
The first thing that we want to start with today is a rapid fire character sheet for Eryn, not Erin. First being, what are your nicknames?
So, I mean, most people just call me Eryn. I've been getting called Revy a lot, which I think is really funny. Auntie E, as a lot of my friends have now started to dub me because I'm like the wine auntie of anime TikTok, which it's fun. It's like sometimes like when I'm doing like the Jerd podcast with the guys and they're just like, where's the wine? I'm like, here we go. Just like I'm ready to go. But yeah, Auntie E, RJ calls me Auntie Rev. But yeah, a lot of nicknames are related to Black Lagoon and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, it's your calling card. Like
Yes.
I think Black Lagoon, I think of Eryn. And
definitely a lot of people
obviously.
Yeah.
What is your go-to snack?
Oh, my go-to snack. I like chips. I love chips. Ruffles, especially like the sour cream and cheese ruffles. I'm just like, that is like my guilty pleasure.
Yes.
I also love Reese's Puffs.
Oh, yes.
My snacks are anything but healthy.
No, I'm a chips and dip person too.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
I love chips and dip.
Yes.
Eats way too much. What is your special talent?
Oh, my special talent. I can do a Yoshi impression. I actually, this one time I was at Hot Topic and I'm looking at this Yoshi shirt and I'm like, if I do my impression, will I get a discount? And he's like, how good is it? And I'm like, fossil. And I'm just like, so like, I'll just like whip it out and see if anybody notices. I'm like, fossil, what? And they're like, okay. I'm like, so I will just like, how much do I want to confuse people today? So I'll do that.
I've seen your other impression.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge. I was like,
oh my god.
Oh, I love it so much.
You look like the 4th of July. Yeah.
Makes me want a hot dog real bad.
Get like people request that one. And I'm just like, what I feel like it. So like whenever I do, they're like, oh my god, she's back. I'm like, yes. It's normally like when my like actual like my IRL friends will text me and they're like, can you make a Jennifer Coolidge post? I'm like, yeah, I got you. That's normally how it happens.
That's awesome. It's like an inside joke with you guys, and then everyone else gets to reap the benefits from it.
Yes, exactly.
What are your top 2 anime simps?
Well, sticking with the theme of Black Lagoon, Rock, definitely. Yeah. And it's really funny because everyone's just like, I mean, like he's just a basic looking guy. I'm like, but here's the thing, compared to a lot of like other anime men, the character progression that like he goes into, like the character development is so damn good. Because like he starts off as like this guy who's like terrified of everything, like just thrown into this criminal underworld, and he's like, oh my god, like what the hell is going on here? And then he learns to adapt, and now like he's got like pretty much everybody under his thumb, especially in the manga. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but this character development is so sexy. I'm like not gonna sugarcoat. I'm like, this guy is hot. And everyone's like, him? And I'm like, you haven't read the manga, have you? Like I'm just like, because everyone's just like, he's so boring. I'm like, you have not seen this series then. So that is the top one. And God, I want to go with like a recent anime simp. No, I'm just gonna go classic. Spike Spiegel, easily.
Nice. Yeah.
So classic. Like he's just so
Yeah.
he's so cool. Like everything that he does. Plus he's voiced by Steve Bloom, and I'm just like, your voice is amazing, sir. Like, oh god, the suits, the dark hair, and the smoking. Like it's just like
Yeah.
I know, and like my followers are just like, oh, I smoke, and I'm like, oh, this does not apply to real life men.
Oh no, no.
I'm like,
no.
no, I'm like, no, smoking's disgusting. But if an anime man does it, I'm just like, you're so pretty. like,
Yeah.
like
The
why do
2D
you like,
smokers, like,
yeah.
because I can't smell it. It's just sexy. And you're
I'm
like,
just like, for all I know, that could smell like a parfait or something like that, like they're vaping
exactly.
or whatever. But like,
Exactly. It smells like
yeah.
cherries or something. You're like,
Exactly.
oh yeah, do it again. Last one for the character sheet. What is your current brain rot?
Oh, my current brain rot. I'm like trying to think besides Black Lagoon, because that is just like a constant brain rot.
That's
Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man brain rot has taken over.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
I feel that.
Mhm.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Oh,
Yep. I know that you read the manga recently.
I did.
Yes. Did it destroy you like it destroyed me?
Oh god, yes. Oh yeah, and then we get to relive it with the anime coming out, and you're just like,
visualize it more. Like, and I'm just like, okay, well, Mappa's just gonna like go panel by panel, and the way, like, compared to the art style that you see in the manga, like it's well done, but it's also like a very rough art style and like very like
it's gritty.
Like it's very gritty, it's grainy, it's like got like that grunge appeal, like very 90s aesthetic. And then you see like this beautiful fluidity with Mappa, and I'm just like, this is gonna hurt so much. Oh my god.
Yeah, like the manga, as you're reading it, you get to take breaks, like from panel to panel. You get the breaks.
I was an idiot. I did not take breaks.
You read it all in one night, didn't you?
I did. It was okay. So like Alex and I were on vacation. It was our last night in Florida. It is raining, and I'm just like, you know, I have Chainsaw Man. I'm just gonna spend the day reading this. So I'm like by the pool, and of course, like the first half of it is like happy-go-lucky, like Denji's like starting his life and like falling into his own. I'm like, he's touching boobs, he's going for it, he's living the dream. It is the life that Denji deserves, because like, oh my god, like he finally has a life where he can survive and sustain himself. And then the second half happens, and you just can't put it down. But I'm like, I was so invested. And then, of course, I poured myself a glass of wine, and Alex is like, are you sure that you should be drinking while reading this? I'm like, I'll be fine. I'm like, this was a mistake. I shut the laptop. He's like, are you good? And I just start sobbing. I'm like, that was oh my god.
Oh no.
I was like, alcohol was a mistake with this.
Because then you start reflecting on everything. Because once you know, then you start reflecting on everything that was happening in the first half too. Like the good things that were happening to him or that he was enjoying. And you're like,
can we go back all a setup? I know, like,
it was like, I want to go back to it, but then you put it in perspective. You're like, it was all set up.
Yeah.
Like we were set up. Denji was set up. Everyone.
I know. I'm just like, we're all Denji here. Essentially. Literally. I'm just like, I've never felt so connected to an MC in a manga, like, because I don't read a lot of manga. Like that was the one that like really hooked me in and made me want to like start collecting more as well. So I was just like, damn, this was quite an experience. Like it was wild. Yeah. But like in the best way. But like Chainsaw Man, like actually it does connect a lot to my Black Lagoon brain rot, because in the early stages of writing Lagoon Company office skits, I took a lot of inspiration from Chainsaw Man, because the dynamic of Rock, Revy, and Benny is based off of Denji, Power, and Aki. So
the trios.
Yes, the trios. And like, and Dutch is just like the dad that unwillingly adopted them, but like he's just like, that's you anyway.
What was your point of no return with nerdom? Like when you were like, there's no going back. I am a nerd through and through.
Oh god, there are several moments that are coming to mind. I mean, I've always been a nerd. I would say like, so I've always been like the girl of the guys' friend circle. Like a lot of my friends outside of TikTok, like a lot of my best friends are guys. And just like growing up, like being surrounded by like gaming consoles, and like me being like one of the only girls to have like a console like in the neighborhood, and everyone would go over to their house or we would go over to some other guy's house. And like that was like the norm since I was like 5 or 6, essentially. Like we would just like go running down the neighborhood. We're like, all right, so is it a PlayStation kind of day? All right, let's go to his house. Or like if it's a Nintendo day, let's go to Erin's house. And like it would just change back and forth. And that was like always the norm growing up. So like it was one of those like I never really realized it was nerdy until like maybe middle school or high school when everyone's like, oh, you're into that stuff. And I'm like, and what about it? It's like it's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah. But like the anime didn't start until like I was in high school and I got my first like iPod Touch and realized that it had YouTube on it. And I was like trying to like delve into anime because like I watched a little bit of like Yu Yu Hakusho growing up and like I love it. It's great. And I was like, I wonder if there's anything else like that. And then I discovered Death Note. And then that was like the first official series that got me into anime. So I was like, this is kind of the point of no return.
Yeah.
So
I'm still reading Death Note's manga, but that was the first like manga that I was, besides like My Hero, that I was like, I'm going to fully read this.
yes.
And
I want to read the manga because I've heard it's really like they do a lot of different things compared to the anime.
yeah, that's what I've heard too, because I'm reading the manga and I'm waiting until once I'm done with the manga to watch the anime.
Yeah.
So I'm
Actually,
like
it's
interested
really
to see
funny.
the
It's really funny though because like the anime that I watched right after Death Note was Black Lagoon, and I was like looking for like anime that were similar, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Black Lagoon is so similar to Death Note." I'm like, "What?" And then I started the first episode. I'm like, "No, it's not." And then I'm like, "Wait a minute, why does Rock sound familiar?" And then I was like, "Oh, he's like Yagami. Oh, that's the connect. Oh, okay, I get it now." I'm like,
there we go.
like Yagami's saying, "Fuck, this is really funny." Like,
The
cool.
dots are connecting and they're even better.
Just like this is great. So yeah, so like if like once you start watching the like if once you get around to the Death Note anime, watch the English dub because like it is just so fascinating. It is so well done.
Oh, okay. I will. I feel like I'm gonna end up watching it in sub, dub, and like every version.
Yeah, I also like to do like the comparison. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm usually a sub watcher, but I
Mhm.
do love a dub. And then it's just so funny, especially like Haikyuu dubbed.
Yes, I love the Haikyuu. Like it's one of those like
Funny.
it's one of those like whenever I first started, I'm like, are they taking this seriously or is this done on purpose? And like, one of my best friends since college, I'm just like, so I started that volleyball anime, and she's like, did you get to the bathroom song yet? And I'm like, yes, I did.
My favorite thing that I do with my sisters all the time is Coach Yukai saying chop chop man bun to Asahi. That it
Mhm.
that's how I got my sisters to start watching anime, because
Yeah.
I forced them to watch the dub of Haikyuu.
It's a good way to start it because like it's just such a fun and lighthearted dub. And then like there's just like they're so serious about volleyball and they're very passionate. And then all of a sudden, like you get the out of pocket one-liners that you just don't see coming. I'm like, huh, okay.
Haikyuu, with the balance between the like the plots and the serious and like getting into it so
Yeah.
good, and
Mhm.
then the humor honestly is a perfect reflection of you, in my opinion. Like
Oh, thank
you
you.
balance it so perfectly. You have like the storylines in your skits, and that you fully like write out scripts and for and everything, which is amazing because I could
You.
never. I'm not that organized, but
Oh, neither
I
am
love
I.
that.
It's a miracle that it actually like my ADHD takes over so much. Like with these score, like I will be very confident. Like if I'm doing like a multi-part skit, like I'll be super confident in the first like half and like the second act per se. Like if you're writing for screenwriting, and then the
Yeah.
ending, I'm just like, there's so much that I want to change. So like I will change things at the last minute, and I'm just like, oh my god. But yeah, the one that I'm doing right now, like I only have 2 parts left to film it. I'm very confident in the ending. It's just like the part before that, I'm like, I'm still kind of tweaking, but like,
You're like, you gotta
mhm.
piece the puzzles together. You're like, I know
Yeah,
this part and I know this part. Now, how do we get there? Like
yeah,
from
exactly.
point A to point B. I just love it so much. Your
You know?
humor, you bring the characters to life in the perfect way. Like, but it's still you, but you
Mhm.
know exactly how you're bringing them to life. Like every character, even though I see you, it's your face.
Yeah.
It's not, because it's Dutch, it's Revy, it's like it's Rock.
Mhm.
Like you kind of
Like,
lose
they're just
yourself in
so
it.
fun. Yeah. Like
So
all of them are
fun.
such fun characters. And like that's the beauty of Black Lagoon. Like they are such complex characters, but one of my favorite parts of the series is like every single one of them has their own unique sense of humor. Like Rock is very like oh my gosh, like I don't even want to say self-deprecating humor because like it's just like it's very dry, but he like will talk down on himself, but it's so funny. And then Revy will just say the most out-of-pocket shit, and you're just like, wow, she really just said that. Like she'll literally just speak her mind, and it's like in a way that is just so hilarious that like you were just like of course back then everyone's just like, wow, a woman actually said that, but I'm just like, no, more women need to be like that, like actually speak their mind. Like that's why I love her so much. And then Benny's just super dry, like basically like the Office kind of humor. Like he's a very Jim Halpert kind of guy. Like really, like it's just like he will say something in passing and Revy's just like, wait, what the fuck was that? And he's like, what? She's like, no, what'd you say? He's like, don't worry about it, and just like walks away. And then Dutch is just like, I'll also speak my mind, but like not nearly as vocally as Revy. And then just Etta flirts with everything that moves. But
yeah.
But like
I love Etta.
Like everyone's just like, is Etta really like that? And I'm like, yes. They're just like, but she's a nun. And I'm like, that's the joke.
That's the fun.
Yeah.
God, that's always such a good joke too.
Mhm.
Like I don't remember what other like animes or series that I've seen, but there's always the nun being so crass. It's just so funny.
No, and it's like really funny because like there's several scenes because there's like Revy will like go to the church to hang out, and like there's so many scenes of them literally just shooting the shit at the top of the altar, like giant, like Jesus Christ on the cross. They're chugging whiskey and they're playing poker and gambling. And the head of the church is just like, are you really doing this again? They're like, we got nowhere else to go tonight. And she's like, okay, whatever. And like, just like walks away. But like, it's just very normal for that. And it's just like the juxtaposition in that series is so brilliant because you look at something that's just like, oh, these people are like supposed to be the heroes or like the presence of like innocence. You look at the church in Black Lagoon and they're just like, hey, we sell guns here. We also like steal money. We are running a separate operation here. You go to the police department and they're just like, no, like we don't do our job here. Like, no, this is not what this is. But like literally every single thing that you look at in that city, like what you perceive to be like, oh, this is a normal looking business, there's always an ulterior motive. It's just really fun to play with that aspect in my content.
You bring like such perfect energy every time. You always have such high energy, and I love it so much. Like, and I know that that's you. Like, that's just you as a person. Your high energy, and it like, I love that it translates so well into your content, and like your followers love it. I love it. Obviously, it's just you're very inclusive. You're funny. You're all around just an amazing content creator, in my opinion. In a lot of people's opinions. So
yeah. I mean, anyone who enjoys pickles and pickle juice is always a really they got good taste. The taste is
exquisite. So have you tried pickled okra?
No, I have not.
I
love pickled red onions. Pickled ginger is fantastic to cook with as well.
I love pickled okra. Like I'll sit down and eat like a jar of pickles, obviously.
Yeah,
but I mean, a jar of pickled okra is gone the minute that it's opened.
Oh my God. If you're ever in Pittsburgh, you need to come to the Picklesburg festival that we do. Like it is 3-day weekend. Like we close off a bridge. And there's a bunch of different vendors that like will show up. Like they will have picklebacks of their own. Like they'll have like pickle like mixed drinks that are just phenomenal. Like, and it's just people like eating different variations of pickles. Like you'll walk down the street, there's a person with a pickle on a stick and it's completely normal. Oh wait, actually, I still have my balloon. Hang on 1 second. It's still alive.
Oh my gosh. Picklesburg. Okay, yep. That's on the to-do list, obviously.
Yes, it is definitely, oh my God. But like, it's insane because everyone's just like, people freak out that much over pickles. And I'm like, have you seen Pittsburgh at all? Yes, we love our pickles.
I belong in Pittsburgh, obviously. Yes. What do you enjoy the most about your creating process? Because I know you have a whole process to it.
I do have a whole process. A lot of it relies on like, so there will be like just a random line of dialogue that will pop into my head. And I'm just like, okay, this could be a really funny joke. How do I build around that? And like, I love writing comedy, obviously, like it's my skits, but the thing that I always hold very like dear whenever I'm doing my writing process is the rule of threes. because like, yes, like there's always a formula to writing comedy, and like it's the tried and true method. So you establish your joke first, and then you remind them of the joke, and then you deliver the punchline. And it's just like, how do I work this in? My next like big agenda is like trying to like push like more of the shoujo and the josei content and everything, because like I gotta be honest, Colleen Manga Rex, it really got me like into some good stuff, and I'm just like, oh yes. But like there's this one, and I've hinted at it in skits in the past where Rock and Revy have seriously been reading smut, because I brought it up in like Truth Be Told, like the current skit arc, and I've also brought it up in other skits in the past, but it's like all like everyone's discovering like Revy's credit card bills, and they're like, hey, what's this fire in his fingertips on? And she's like, don't worry about it. And they're like, what is this? And she's like, I just said, don't worry about it. So basically the next skit, it starts with Rock finding a copy of the Josei manga, which is game Between the Suits, which is like the new one that everyone's like been freaking out over. So he sits down to read it, and then it goes in with Benny and him trying to sneak in the office with his girlfriend for like other reasons, and he's just like, okay, somebody here, because like the lights are on, and they discover that Rock's reading the manga, and they're like, oh, we're gonna tell. And then they find a consistent theme in it, and they're like, what if we turn this into a drinking game? And then Dutch catches them. He's like, are you serious right now? And then an hour passes and everyone's drunk, and they're like, this is a great manga, like where the hell did it come from? And then the actual punchline, Revy just bums in, and she's like, oh, that's where that was. And like, oh, this is yours. And she's like, hand it over like right now. And they're just like, oh, and she's like, shut up. Basically the gist of that. So like, because of this, because like this crew is like definitely the last kind of like the last group of people that you would expect to be reading like intense romance like that, because every single one of them is afraid of confronting their feelings romantically in that entire series, except for Benny. But it's just like, okay, what if like juxtaposing the fact that like, okay, like they do enjoy a lot of pop culture, like it's very well known in that series, they're a lot of movie buffs. So like, what if they actually got into the romance genre? How would it go? And it's like everyone's trying to keep it secret from each other. Like, yeah, I kind of like this. I don't want to talk about this, but it's just one of those like kind of like going into that side. So I really wanted to toy around with that lately.
What has been your favorite thing that's come from your putting yourself on the internet, you know, posting on your content?
I would have to say the friends that have come out of it. Like, there's been so many different opportunities that have come, like yourself, for instance, like meeting a lot of like-minded people, but also like matching the same energy. And it's like really cool to like be able to interact with others, and like you just hit it off right away. It's just like the friendships that have come out from like making content and just like learning more about myself and putting myself out there even more than I already do, and like wanting to like take risks and stuff. So like the Jerd podcast, when we started that, I was just like, I don't know, like I love doing interviews and like podcasts and stuff like that, but I never saw myself as being in a co-host role. And that actually started whenever I did an interview with Jay, Greedy Jay. And he was like, I had this crazy idea, since we're all friends, me, you, Drew, and RJ. I know that we all talk separately, but I know that we're all friends. And I know how chaotic we are. What if we did a podcast, or like just a group interview? And like it started as a group interview idea. And then because of how well we were interacting, like how many different conversation topics that we were covering in just that one interview, we're like, we should actually do a podcast. Like this would actually be a lot of fun. And it's just, I've committed to it. It's great. It's only like once a month, but like, because like I was afraid of like not being able to like have the commitment to the podcast if we did it like once or twice a week, or like every 2 weeks. But like, no, like it's also just been such a fun experience.
Is there anything that you want to make sure that you uplift or promote within the community that you've built with your followers?
Mostly like the biggest thing that I really want to enforce like with uplifting is never feel afraid to stand up for yourself. If you feel that something is wrong, don't be afraid to be vocal about it. As you guys know, I am very vocal about things that bother me, and I will make posts about it. Especially when, and this has basically just happened with men. This is not a blanket statement whatsoever. This is just my experience. I've experienced a lot of sexism and misogynistic behavior. And that is like one of the biggest things that Revy has inspired me to do is like be vocal about things, especially when it comes to being the target of misogynistic mentalities. Because you look at Revy and like, yes, like she has a revealing outfit, but one of the rare things with her character compared to a lot of women in anime, while she wears like a revealing outfit, she is never sexualized. And she makes it very clear that she does not want to be. So I'm very much the same way. So when people are just like, mommy, step on me, I'm like, first of all, no, I do not have children. But second of all, you really think that you are worth my time for me to do that? I don't even do that to my own boyfriend. What makes you think that you are deserving? And like, then they're just like, wow, you're being a bitch. And I'm like, hey, you come with that energy, I have no problem shutting you down. Like it's like, I'm just like, I don't tolerate that shit. It's disgusting. Like ladies, gays, theys, like other men, like you just don't see that with a lot of women, like doing that in the comment sections of men. And it's like a much different perspective. And I've established several times that I don't like being on the receiving end of that. So whenever it gets too far, I'm just like, okay, you know what? I will make a post about this and I will just speak my mind. Because I'm just like, there's a lot of women and femme presenting on this app that do not like that. And it's ridiculous because whenever we receive those comments, it's not a compliment. We are being disrespected. And if you think that's okay, like, no, you're in for a really rude awakening. And I'm sorry that no one has actually told you that to your face, but I'm about to. I'm sorry that I was the first one to do that and I embarrassed you on the internet, but I'm gonna learn. So yes, I want to make sure like my page is a safe space for anyone who feels like they aren't brave enough to speak up for themselves. And I'm hoping that me being vocal about these issues, especially like things that bother me in particular, that more than likely someone else is also experiencing this and it's bothering them too. And they don't know how to speak up for themselves yet. And I just hope that me vocalizing that encourages them to do so and stand up for themselves and gain a little bit of confidence from that as well. So yeah.
With New Year, is there new content on the horizon? Do you have anything in the works?
I do have things in the works. So soon I will be having an interview with Marika Hendricks, who plays Revy in the English dub of Black Lagoon, and that will definitely be up around the new year. So, and I'd love to like try and do that more with other voice actors, since I do have a couple of other people that I do regularly connect with that I would love to pick their brains up and try to like create more long form content and interviews on my own YouTube channel. And honestly, you inspired me to do that as well, because I think that you have such a great flow with your podcast episodes. And I'm like, I really want to do that. And I love how Amanda takes their time with personalizing these questions and really know who they're talking with. And I think that's really cool. And I want to be able to do that in the future too. So thank you for inspiring me.
Oh, yay. I'm so excited. Where can people find you online?
So as you can see, my name is Eryn, not Erin. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. Just a heads up on Twitter, I'm an absolute like goblin, like a gremlin essentially. I do not give a shit. I have no filter. So if you think I'm bad on TikTok, just go to my Twitter. I'm worse. I guarantee it. I am chaos incarnate. So you have and I also have my YouTube, Eryn, not Erin. I upload all my longer form Lagoon Company office skits under one video instead of multiple parts. So you can watch those there, and I will also be uploading interviews there too. So yes, that's where you can find me.
Well, thank you again for joining me today. And I enjoyed getting to talk with you. And thank you all for watching this episode of Fandom Friends. And we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.